Hello and welcome to my latest video, everyone. This one I'm actually doing is more of an educational and a factual video, because obviously it's one that seems to come up a few times in my lives, and I'm obviously going to deep dive into it for everyone. Because obviously I've got someone who goes, he wants to eventually turn vegan, and obviously we all know it's something that's now actually on the decline. It's not actually on the incline, because obviously more and more people are actually starting to see the wrong side of it and why it's bad. It's not actually a great thing to be doing, because obviously it's not great for your health. So I'm actually going to be showing you the truths and why it's not good to be going vegan. So obviously, as you can see, the video is titled Facts About Vegan Food You Must Know. So obviously, first of all, what we're going to be starting off with is obviously the adventure we all know is Bear Grylls. So the adventure is now super against vegetables, grains and nuts, and now in favour of red meat, dairy and eggs, because obviously he did go into a vegan mode. So obviously we're going to dive into this one first of all, and then we'll go a bit further into the more educational side. So we'll start off with this one. So Bear Grylls revealed he has ditched his vegan diet, which I admire for him for, and returned to eating meat and dairy. The Man vs. Wild presenter spoke to GQ to share his previous vegan diet of raw juices and vegetables led into kidney pains, which is the type of thing I've mentioned many times. It does cause you a lot of health issues. Additionally, Grylls claimed his health tanked when following a plant-based diet. How many times have I mentioned this? Instead, the adventurer now eats lots of red meat, eggs and dairy, foods that have been criticised by professionals for contributing to several health issues such as high cholesterol, diabetes and even the big C. What's more, Grylls is now super against grains and wheat, similar to those who follow the paleo diet. And then obviously there's a post, Breakfast of Champions, what's your go-to? Sacred Oat, Atlanta grass feed. Obviously that's obviously one of his plates. I don't know if that was when he was vegan or whatever. No, that'd be more mince. So obviously we've had millions of years of evolution. We were designed to eat meat, which is correct. The human body was always a carnivore and always will be. We're not designed to eat plants. So during the interview, Grylls shared, I changed my mindset away from vegetables, are great to realizing we've had millions of years of evolution and we've designed to eat meat and milk and eggs. Moreover, Grylls explained what a typical meal at home includes: a burger from grass-fed mince with cheese and an egg on top, cooked with a tallow fry, some white rice in it and a scoop of bone marrow, a massive tub of Greek yogurt and a honey and berries. So that sounds like quite nice, to be fair. In an interview, Bear revealed that his new diet had been influenced by the Paul Saldino, aka Carnivore MD. Saldino is an advocate for carnivorism, claiming it can attain a radical health, strength and vitality. Additionally, he has featured on the notorious Joe Rogan Experience to explain the negative effects of eating too many plants, a theory which is often debunked by researchers and experts. But remember, a lot of these research and experts are paid by certain people to say veganism is great, but you can't always go by all these scientists that say that. So he supports the carnivore diet, often cite the vegetables are toxic because of lectins and lactic acid that are often found in a plant-based food. According to McGill, there is little research to suggest that we should avoid lectin foods, and that unless you're living where there's deficiency of common lactic and acid, should not be concerned. Kevin Clatter, PhD in molecular nutrition, added, vegetarians and vegans do not typically have higher rates of anemia. Phytic acid is a common bogeyman in cycles trying to demonize any plant-based food. So that's his story. I did want to bring you that first. And then obviously there's the next one, which is something I did again mention on my live the other day, which is why there's a decline in vegan food, or veganism's declining. So we'll go through the AI bit first, and then we'll go to the bit that's on Sky News. So it's a veganism decline in popularity driven by the high costs during a cost of living crisis, the health concerns over highly processed meat alternatives, and the all or nothing nature of movement. Consumers are switching to flexitarian diets, shifting from strict veganism to healthier whole food options, which has led to a market correction for plant-based meat substitutes. Key reasons for the decline in popularity of the vegan movement include ultra-processed food concerns. So many popular vegan meat substitutes are increasingly viewed as unhealthy, processed and packed with additives, leading to a shift back towards whole foods, which I wholeheartedly agree with, because obviously you look at people, they're turning grey, they don't look as healthy, they're a lot thinner. It's not good for you, veganism. High cost and inflation. Yeah, the vegan foods do cost a lot more, so vegan products are often more expensive than their animal-based counterparts. You look how cheap you can get a chicken for these days, and you can feed a family on a whole chicken. So sometimes 14% more than, leading to them being dropped from the shopping list during the cost of living crisis. The rise of flexitarianism. More consumers are shifting toward a plant-forward or flexitarian diet, which is perceived as more sustainable than less rigid than a strict veganism. Cultural backlash and extreme image. The all or nothing attitude and sometimes aggressive marketing strategies of some vegan groups have caused a backlash, creating an us versus them mentality, which is, again, I hate this when you've got certain vegans out there going, you have to turn vegan, otherwise the world's going to be over. But it's not correct, because the world's not going to end if we don't all turn vegan. Because, again, you've got to think of the way, if you don't milk a cow, the cow gets unalived. That's a fact. Because you have to milk a cow and we have to use its milk. So, again, it's just a whole part and parcel of the way we use things. So you can't just suddenly switch off cow's milk and expect us to suddenly not have cows anymore, because it is just the way life goes. Then you got market saturation, quality issues. The market for vegan meat alternatives became saturated with poor quality products, leading to the drop in sales and consolidation of products. Health and nutritional concerns. Some consumers have reported health issues, which again is something I have been banging that drum for a while, such as nutrient deficiencies, e.g. vitamin A, D and B12, prompting a return to animal products. And also they do suffer low protein, because obviously these vegan meals don't have high protein. Whereas, for example, if you eat chicken, it's high in protein. It's the only one that is full high in protein. You're never going to get anything as high in protein, and no vegan meal will have that. So while vegan products and high profile meat alternative brands are suffering, the shift towards eating less meat plant-based remains a growing trend, even if it's no longer accompanied by a strict vegan lifestyle, which is, I think, is better, because you can't suddenly put that burden on our farmers, because why should they take that brunt? And then obviously we go to how the Sky News bit puts it. So they put, why so many companies withdrawing their vegan products? They put more people appear to be adopting the vegan lifestyle each year, so why are so many big firms withdrawing the meat alternatives? Our money team takes a look. So the rise of veganism seems to have been unstoppable in recent years, with more and more people taking the lifestyle switch due to animal welfare, which that's bit it's because obviously they've not seen how maybe it's been done in this country, because if it's done the proper way, the normal way farmers do, it's fine, whereas if it's done the halal way, yes, it's not fair that something needs to be banned from this country. I wholeheartedly agree with that. But when it's the way that it's normally slaughtered in this country and put on shelves, that's fine, because obviously animals are bred to be slaughtered, to be put on your plate. That's fine, because you have a chicken factory full of chickens that are bred that way. The same with cows, pigs. They're bred to become the certain types of meat. That's perfectly fine, and it's how it always has been for thousands and thousands of years. So we shouldn't be suddenly stopping now. So the Veganuary campaign, which started back in 2014, which is a campaign I've always hated, sees participants commit to being vegan for the entire month of January. I can guarantee you I've never been part of that. Has helped raise awareness of plant-based diet, and is credited with prompting many people to make the permanent switch. Not me. Around 707,000 people signed up to the challenge last year. Well, I have never touched the food, never will. It smells vile. Research by comparison site Finder suggests there were an estimated 2.5 million vegans in the UK, so it's a drop in the ocean. 4.7% of the population, so it's no way, it's not even 5%. With the number increasing to roughly 1.1 million since 2023, so it's still tiny numbers. Product withdrawals and search interest in decline. So despite the apparent increase in people adopting the vegan diet, other data poses significant questions for the market. So here's where it goes. So figures from the consumer intelligence company NIQ show that in the year to June, sales chilled or frozen meat alternatives dropped by around 21%. With the same period 2 years earlier, there was slight rebound in the dairy-free milk sales, which increased by 0.8, but again, that's a drop in the ocean, really. Heinz disappointed by some customers this year by revealing that it discontinued its vegan salad cream. Again, well done to them for doing that, because obviously they should stick to what they're good at. And Greggs axed its vegan steak bake. Again, well done to Greggs, because they should again be sticking to what they're good at. In May, Quorn removed its chilled bacon slices from shelves. Again, bacon just isn't bacon when it's a Quorn version. It smells vile, it looks vile. While other brands such as Heck, Oatly and Nestle have reduced their vegan product offerings in the past couple of years. So you can see it's on a steep decline, which I'm quite happy with. So that's a story. Obviously, the next one I wanted to go on to is this one. The vegan diet is widely regarded to be better for the planet than those included in products, but not all plant-based foodstuffs have a small environmental footprint. So this is again something I've been banging on about for a while, because again, where does a lot of the stuff come from? Like your soya milk, your cocoa powder, none of it comes from this country. It's all imported, which is where this story comes on to. It's things like, because yes, we know your blueberries, your strawberries are all imported and they end up flown in, so it's a huge carbon footprint to get these things in. And then the major things like if you're as you go down, like your avocados, which are used by a lot of vegans, it's astronomical when you're seeing like this 3 kilograms of CO2 on average for the mushrooms. it's getting ridiculous because obviously they don't take into consideration this when a chicken is made down the road with zero CO2. It's crackers. So it's hypocritical to say, well, you eating a chicken's bad for the environment. No, it's not. A chicken's better. They just don't see that because obviously when all these foods are like, there you go, Amazon, West Africa and Southeast Asia, that's for like your palm oil and things like that, your soy. So yeah, it takes a while to get here to do what you're going to do with it. Yeah, they don't realise all that. We, on the sensible side of things, where we eat meat that's homegrown in Britain, yes, we understand, yes, there's methane set off from these things, but it can be dealt with in proper ways. And obviously, we are dealt with to eat meat, and that's how it will always be. And obviously, I'm never going to be one that's going to change the way I think about it, because obviously, as a human being, we need to have meat in our diet. Because I don't want to be injecting myself every so many hours just because I need protein, have to take all these extra vitamins because I'm forced to go vegan. And then we know there's certain people out there in the WEF that want to push this. But why should we be forced down a rabbit hole we do not want to go down? Yes, we know certain people in the Green Party want to go down this route. But you can't force everyone. People have to have choice in life. Yes, you can give people allowed if they want to go vegan. That's their choice. But you can't force everyone. Because you've got to allow people to eat meat. Because obviously then, look, because obviously if everyone physically tomorrow decide to go vegan, our life expectancy would drop. At the moment we're estimated between 80 to 90. We would drop to around 40 to 50 years of age. That's a scary thing. Just because we've suddenly changed our diet. Think of how many centuries it's took to get to where we are now. Because when we were back in like when Henry VIII was around, for example, we were only living to about 30, 40, 50 years of age maximum. And now, because living standards are so good, we've managed to get to live to the ripe old age we are now. But if we change our diet, it's going to fall. I'll leave you with that one to think of, because obviously we know there's people out there that will not take this on board. They'll still go, I will still work towards becoming vegan. Well, you're going to shoot yourself or you pew yourself in the foot. But that's your own stupidity. All I say is heed my warning, because it's not something a Reform UK government will be pushing. We will be continuing to help our farmers with their meat products and everything like that. And that's why if I want a decent bit of meat that I know is not halal or kosher, I'll go to a proper butcher because I trust them. Because why should I buy halal meat? Again, get proper meat from your local butcher because you know it's proper British meat and it's been prepared properly. Yes, you may pay £1 or £2 more, but it's worth it not to get the Islamic version, which is not as good quality. Again, that's just another bit just to help you guys out. Plenty of farm shops out there, and we should be supporting our British farmers more than we should be helping European counterparts. But again, I'll leave you guys to it, and thank you, and catch you in the next one. Goodbye.